What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, OTB Nation? Welcome into episode number 261 of the allegedly award-nominated number 9 NCAA ranked, and of course, viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. It's KB. It's the Gesundheit, bless you, pardon your sneeze. Dab God himself, DJ.
What up? We here. We live.
We've got a lot to dive into on this episode from the NLL. We've got our PLL Championship Series preview on deck. And DJ's got PLL watch in February. And then DJ's got his college week 2 rundown. And then we'll give a little update on my recruitment tour as well. Might have had some listener-submitted teams into the mix. But before we get started, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at OTB LaxPod, Twitter, Instagram. We're going to be way more active on Instagram moving forward, which I'm very excited about. I've been getting in a routine, bro. I've been getting in a routine posting on Instagram, and it's like, wow, why the fuck was I not doing this forever? It's so simple. But we're going to be way more active on Instagram. Same handle as Twitter, at OTB LaxPod for both. Follow DJ on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I felt left out this past week, DJ. I don't know if you saw it. The main pod always lives on some sort of chart on Apple Podcasts for sports because of where we distribute it from. But 3 out of our other podcasts on the network were on their respective genre charts this past week. Top Bins, Streamer Season, and Getting all in the top 200. All inside the top 200 on their respective genre charts. But you know who was left out looking like Squidward asking for spare change? Us. Get us on the charts. Subscribe. I know lacrosse needs a genre chart. It's the only sport and only content we cover that doesn't have its own specific chart. So we're just stuck with all the sports.
You know what? I know somebody that work at Apple. I might be able to put a call in.
Dun.
I'm gonna look into
Get on that Kim Possible grind.
I'm gonna look into
that. Subscribe to the podcast feed, whether it's on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a 5-star review. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. That's where you get full video episodes of OTB, every podcast on our network. I know Deej is very excited. We put out a big game commercial. We've got F1 content coming to the network as well for anybody out there.
Sir.
Follow at Underground F1 on Instagram and at Underground_F1 on Twitter. F1 content coming to the network as well, but you're going to get every bit of content that involves video on our YouTube channel. The most ridiculous video did numbies for us from one of Pitts' Man on the Street videos that he recently did. It just proved that dogs move the needle. So go check out everything on our YouTube channel. That's where the OTB cast goes down when Deej and I live stream NLL games and do watch-alongs there. You get a whole bunch of stuff on our YouTube channel. YouTube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. We're at 387 subscribers right now. Let's get to 400 by the end of the month. Please, I'm begging you. 400 by the end of the month. Let's make it happen. And make sure you guys go get your merch. PHI Apparel Company, the best in the game. They're the official merch provider of our entire company. They've got official OTB merch on their website, which I need to order an OTB hoodie to wear to the championship series and to all these NLL games and PLL weekends and everything. And you guys should be doing the same exact thing. Go get your merch. phiapparel.co. Use code underground. You get 10% off any and all merch orders. We want to see where you guys are rocking your merch from. We want to see you at college games rocking hoodies, shirts, all that good stuff. Tag us on Twitter and Instagram when you're rocking your merch. So go get your merch, phiapparel.co. Use code underground for 10% off any and all merch orders. What's poppin', Deej?
So I do want to say, first off, I am now once again not going to Albany. I got approached with an opportunity that I find very important for my high school kids. We normally end our season um, on a very low note, losing in a not so great fashion in our state tournament. I had a coach reach out to me and wanted to get teams of similar stature to mine together for a postseason tournament to help everyone to end the season on a lighter note. First and second place get trophies, et cetera, et cetera. So
That's fire.
I got to drop 350 on that tomorrow. I will get reimbursed, but I dropped 350 on that. I paid a speeding ticket earlier this week.
Speeding tickets are the biggest joke.
Bro, and I almost fought it because he had all his lights off when he pulled me when he gunned me.
Man.
But I just didn't want to go to court, and
Yeah.
it wasn't worth it. I was like,
Not.
whatever. It was only
So,
100
court fees and all that.
It was only $120. I was like, whatever. I'd possibly go to court and end up paying more. It's not worth it. I'm just gonna pay it and move on. But yeah, Lacrosse is right around the corner. Got some quarter zips for me and my coaches. I really hope, boys, if y'all are listening, don't say anything to Coach Fails or Coach Tom. And I really hope they aren't listening.
This is a spoiler warning.
For real, I got us black quarter zips and we're getting our logo embroidered on the left chest.
Sheesh.
Yeah, and I'm paying for them myself. Just
That's
gonna go ahead and
gas.
get them. I'm getting those in the next couple of weeks so we can get a photo shoot done with our new jerseys and kind of start the new era of KU lacrosse. I'm really excited for that. So I'm really. We got to get some grants going next so we can get some helmets. I want to get some black and gray helmets to match our new jerseys, and there's a lot of things I want to do, but money. So
yeah.
First off, anybody out there that has money and needs to give and wants to give to those teams that are on the up and coming and need it, my program's a great one. You can get in contact with me at SCS_next great, and we can move from there. Or if you know other people that are, or you know grants, you can also just drop a grant in my DM.
And we're not talking amen.
Right. Not talking grant amen.
But I mean, if Grant wants to come out,
yeah,
boy.
You can come coach whenever you want. But yeah, no, if you know some grants with some money that could help, I'll do all of the legwork if you just want to drop it in my DM.
Yeah, I got a summer schedule update for the people too. I have officially been contracted for a podcast production job the weekend that PLL is in Columbus, so it just worked out perfectly. So if you're in the Columbus area, I'm going to be in town for pretty much an entire week that weekend leading into the following week. So come say what's up. Columbus is going to be my home for a week, pretty much. I'm super excited. I get to work with people that I've known for pretty much my entire formative years into my adult life that I haven't gotten to see over the last couple of years due to old Pandy Randy, but very pumped about that. And where I'll be staying is literally like, and if you're going to Columbus, I'm pretty sure I get the hookup for you as well. So we got a whole lot going on. It's literally 10 minutes from the new stadium, which is immaculate.
I'll say it's beautiful.
Like, the fact that we only have a 10-minute drive is fantastic. So super excited. So
I hope there aren't any Michigan fans listening, but Oh no played basketball against Iowa today, and they wore some very nice dark gray jerseys that the scarlet and white sat on. So they were fantastic. I'll just say that they looked great.
Hey, I do gotta say, red and gray looks great. Shout out Vineland.
That's a little different though. Y'all don't have scarlet and gray. Y'all have
That's
red
fair.
and gray.
That's fair. But still, that combo.
Y'all, yes, Vineland looks good in red and gray. Scarlet and gray is actually there's a very different connotation when you add the word scarlet.
Valid. Speaking of connotation, not really at all, because there's zero context to correlation there. But let's get into our Week 11 recap, Deej, of NLL action. Crazy week in the NLL. A lot of fun matchups went down. You are once again on just an absolute certified tear with your picks. The weekend went like this. Toronto won 11-10 over Georgia. Calgary just opened a can of whoop ass defensively and offensively on Saskatchewan 13-6. Rochester won in a barn burner 16-14. New York beat Albany. Let's go, Riptide. Well done. Well done, boys. 14-12. Panther City squeaked one out against Vancouver 14-13. And then Calgary made us look like it. I said it at the end of the picks last week. We're going to look like morons for doing this. Thanks, Hutton. Just kidding. Shout out to the boy.
No, I think you. If you wouldn't even said that, they probably would have lost. He's like, I wonder what the stat is for teams who are playing at home. They probably would have lost, bro. This is on you.
Yeah, but it was because I read a tweet. If I wouldn't have seen that tweet at all.
Hey, but you didn't even have to recognize that you read that tweet. You could have left that alone. Yeah.
But Calgary defied the odds of what we've seen happen since 2021 and won both of their games, won 13-9 against Colorado. Wild weekend. My biggest takeaways, my top 3 takeaways from this weekend. Rochester's still legit. They're still a legit force, sitting at 7-2, tied for first place virtually with Buffalo and Toronto in the East. We've kind of said this for the past month and a half. Calgary's a wagon. They're looking phenomenal. They're at 6-3. And then my final takeaway is that Colorado might be dead in the water, even at 4-4. They just do not look cohesive. And that's not even from this weekend per se, just as a whole. They have not looked like the Colorado mammoth that we have known them to be. Something just seems off. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's offensively. I don't know if it's defensively. And it's not going to get any better because their transition game just took a massive hit with Joey Capito being out for the season. All the best to Joey because he's one of the best transition players in all of lacrosse. So that's going to be a massive nightmare for their transition game because there's no replacing Joey Capito. But I don't know if Colorado's going to be able to hang with San Diego, with Calgary, with what we're expecting from Saskatchewan, and with how frisky Panther City has been. They're sitting at 5-4. Those are the 4 teams that are ahead of Colorado right now. And only 3 teams, I believe, if my math is correct, make it out of the West. So it's going to be tough for Colorado to weather some of these storms.
Yeah, I agree. That's when you put it like that, they are in a pretty tough spot. They got some injuries going on. Never really know who's stepping out on the floor for them. Wow.
It's crazy. It's crazy to come to that realization, but
yeah, it's so quickly after they just won a championship. But hey, I don't know. It's this week was I don't know what's going on with me in my picks in these games, but they're playing out exactly how I think they're going to. Other than Calgary, who has been phenomenal.
Well, you did get the Calgary dub against Saskatchewan. So.
I did. I saw that coming.
I did not see that difference in score. Like, I
No.
felt like that was a like coin flip type of game, but I didn't think they were going to win by 7. Like, that's
with the
just
way,
like
with
that's
the way
a
the
put your,
rush.
part of my French to any kids listening, that's a put your dick on the table type of move and saying, hey, we're here, get out of our way.
Yeah, no, for real. Because, like, it's
a big win.
Especially with the way the Rush have been playing this year. They've
Right.
been back to the old Rush, and they've been playing very good, winning multiple games in a row, putting offense together, having a solid showing on defense. And Calgary just tore all of that apart. It just pretty much just decimated them. They made it very hard for the Rush to do anything.
Yeah. New York getting a big win to kind of just like keep any sort of hopes that they had alive, especially with how bad Albany has looked. I mean, it's going to be tough with 3-7-2 teams in the East, and then you have Halifax and Philly kind of like on the tail end of things in the East of being teams that we think will contend for a postseason spot. But big win, I think, just for morale and confidence for New York. And like we said, Rochester's still super legit. 2 losses, but a big win against Halifax to kind of help separate, the big dogs from the rest of the field in the East. So this is what the East standings look like. 7-2 are the Bandits, the Nighthawks, and the Rock. The Thunderbirds are 4-5. Philly is 3-4. Albany's 2-5. New York's 2-6, and Georgia's 0-6. The only winless team. If you would have polled us at the beginning of the year and said Georgia would be the last team without a win, we would have looked at you like you had 12 heads.
Yep. Absolutely.
But here they are. And in the West, San Diego is 6-1, Calgary 6-3, Saskatchewan's 4-3, Panther City's 5-4, Colorado's 4-4, Las Vegas 2-5, and Vancouver 1-8.
Vancouver should be regulated.
I wish there was relegation, man. Relegation would be fire. Imagine like you got sent down to the Arena Lacrosse League.
Seriously.
That'd be so sick.
Be like, all right, pull them up. Who's up?
That'd be so dope. Week 11 was crazy. Week 12 is on deck, but before we get to Week 12, Deej, your State of the Fandom. It's brought to you by our friends over at Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game. They just restocked a bunch of their sunglasses. Before you guys know it, spring is going to be here. Summer's going to be here. You're going to need to protect your eyeballs. But as Deej and I always say, sunglasses are just as, if not more important, in the wintertime than they are in the spring and the summer. You can also get your Blue Light Plus glasses to protect your eyes when you're watching your favorite teams go to work on your big screens at home. So get your sunglasses, your blue light glasses, and everything else in between at TomahawkShades.com. And when you go to checkout, use our promo code USP for 25% off an already affordable product for a fraction of the price. We're giving you a fraction of a fraction's price with our code USP. You get 25% off at TomahawkShades.com. Use code USP at checkout. 25% off at TomahawkShades.com. Deej, your State of the Fandom following Week 11. Has anything changed? Obviously, Georgia and Vancouver already eliminated, but has anybody else found a spot on the bench next to them?
Not on the bench. Colorado, especially after the conversation we just had, is definitely on the hot seat. My Riptide picking up a win is big. I'm not going to fault Albany, but they seem to kind of hover around average in terms of like how they compare to every other team. And if they're going to deal with injuries like any team will, I don't know if I can necessarily be a fan of an average team that's going to deal with injuries, because then that makes them below average. So that's a question mark there. They're kind of bubble hot seat-ish there. But other than that, we kind of vibing. I I'm getting a little fond of Rochester. They play with a lot of swag. I
They
really
are
wish.
hella fun.
There's just so much about Vegas that like I kind of just want to, but like,
You just love Jack Hanna.
nah. I kind of like how invested the fans got into it so quick, and like I don't know, the black and white they did it kind of right.
Well,
But the logo is true.
one thing that I have to say about their jerseys are fine. I just hate the font of the numbers.
Yeah.
Like, it drives me crazy. Like, it looks like they weren't resized properly.
I don't think
It's
they were.
gigantic. I do love that preseason we kind of said Rochester was going to be our league pass team. Look
And
at
they're
us.
working out. Mm-hmm.
Last season for PLL's Chrome. Our league pass teams are doing phenomenal over the last calendar year.
So, what's the form? Hey, you want to be good? Become our league pass team.
Pander to us.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
So there's
Not like we got a hand in anything or anything,
right.
but pod science.
Pandering works. Let's get to our Week 12 preview. Fun matchups this week. These are the matchups for Week 12. Friday night, East Coast, get your caffeine ready. Maybe some Dubby Energy. You're going to need it. Week 12 preview brought to you by our friends over at Dubby. Deej, Dubby has been so successful over the past month or so since we've been partnered with them that nearly every product they have is now simply on pre-order. Dubby is working on getting into retail stores, so retailers have bought up a bunch of their product. But if you go to dubby.gg, you can place your order. It's a pre-order, but when it's ready to ship out, you'll be first in line to get your product. Should ship out towards the end of this month, early March. We do have the white peach mango flavor, the beach and peach, coming to the studio by the end of the week, which is very exciting. I kid you not, man. This stuff has been keeping me going. You guys know I work for a high school's theater department. We're in full show season. Our show opens next week. Dubby's been keeping me going. It's been keeping the whole company energized. Dom tried it live on our anniversary show. Pitts has had it up in Boston. It is truly just delicious. It's all natural as well, and that's the best part. There's no sugar, no calories, no maltodextrin fillers, no artificial colors, and it's got that patented neuro factor in there, which helps enhance brain performance by up to 143%. And that was done in a clinical study. And Dubby's just going to war on big energy. And you can take advantage and take control of your energy consumption by switching over to Dubby. Go to dubby.gg and use code underground to get 10% off. Their starter packs are in stock, though, so you get this awesome shaker along with 2 starter packs to kind of get your taste buds ready for it. It comes with the Dragonade, which is dragon fruit and pink strawberry lemonade, and then the beach and peach flavors right now with the starter packs. So go to dubby.gg, use code underground for 10% off your order. Week 12 of the NLL. It's crazy to think we're like 3/4 of the way through the season already. Only 6 more weeks after this week of regular season action. Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, we've got Calgary at Vancouver. And 10:30 Eastern Time, we got Saskatchewan at San Diego. Then on Saturday, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 2 games. Georgia at Toronto, Las Vegas at Albany. Then 7:30, we got Philadelphia at Buffalo. 8 o'clock, Colorado at Panther City. And then Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, New York travels to Halifax to take on the Thunderbirds. These which matchups are kind of standing out to you this week?
don't know. Because Georgia Toronto is going to be probably a blowout. Calgary Vancouver will probably be a blowout. Halifax New York is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's a little frisky.
Yeah, you never know kind of what New York team you're going to get to show up when they play Halifax. We've seen both sides where Halifax kind of comes in and washes them, but we've also seen New York kind of show up and definitely give them a run for their money. So that'll be an interesting game. And then the only other game I really see that, I guess there's two more. The Rush in San Diego is probably my game of the week, to be honest.
Yeah.
I want to see how Rush bounce back after getting pretty much walked over last week by Calgary, and then you're San Diego.
And Saskatchewan's Pride jerseys, did you see them?
I have not.
They look awesome. Absolutely crushed it. Whoever designed their Pride jerseys, job well done. I'm with you on the San Diego Saskatchewan game. I also think Philly and Buffalo is going to be a lot of fun. Those two teams just always play really close for whatever reason. So I'm looking forward to that. And, another game with Mitch Jones in the fold for the Wings is going to be a lot of fun. Because it really seemed like he, helped switch things up for their offense for the better. And then I think, weirdly enough, even though we've been kind of down on them, rightfully so, they haven't shown us anything to be up on them. For some reason, Las Vegas and Albany is just like, for all due respect to both of these squads, it's like a mid-off.
Yeah.
As the kids would say. I'm like
100%.
I like low-key want to watch that game just to see how Vegas plays. Like, this is the first time Vegas gets an East team since January when they played Philadelphia in Vegas. And I don't know, with how down Albany's been, Albany did just sign Zach Tucci this week, our guy. Shout out Tucci Main, another water dog, going to the Albany Fire water drip dog. But I'm intrigued by that game for some reason. Don't ask me why. But that's a weird game that I feel like if you're a true sicko fan of lacrosse, you watch that game. So I'm intrigued by that one, to say the least. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting week to see how things go. So I think without any further ado, Deej, we head over to the pond. And
Yes,
break out the breadcrumbs and start feeding these ducks, because it is time for the NLL Week 12 Picks of the Week, powered by Pickup. Guys, you can go to playpickup.com and start playing the hottest headlines in sports. Rack up points on your fan profiles, cash them in for prizes on the Pickup Marketplace. You play any and all props available, created by content creators. So go to playpickup.com now and start playing those headlines. Deej, we start things off in Vancouver. I think everybody knows where we're going. Give us the Roughnecks.
Yep, no questions from me.
Then we go to San Diego, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday night. Saskatchewan, San Diego. I don't know about you, but me personally, I would not want to see the Super Seals when they've had a week of rest.
Yeah, I'll take.
Give me the Seals.
I'll take San Diego.
Do I think it's going to be an intriguing and very fun game? Absolutely. But with that team fully rested, and I'm sure the boy Big Cat Kevin Crowley is going to be on a mission following the Birds' loss in the Super Bowl. He's ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, and just them being at home gives me just a little more assurance.
Next game, everybody knows we're going Toronto over Georgia. That's just a given fact there. Then we go to the frisky game, Vegas at Albany. What you got for me there, Deej?
This one's kind of hard. It's almost a toss-up. I'll have to say Vegas because Tucci is still getting used to the count. I think that's going to mess him up a bit.
I'm with you on Vegas. I just think Jack Hanna's playing stupidly good, and I think that's going to be a massive X factor. And we just haven't seen anything from Albany's offense to like scream like, hey, we're showing you something, pick us. So give me Vegas there. Then we move to 7:30 on Saturday, Philly at Buffalo. I think it's going to be a heavyweight slugfest. It was earlier this year when Buffalo went to Philly. Philly looked like they were in the driver's seat in that game, and things crumbled in the third quarter. Mitch Jones was not on the team then. He is now. Philly coming off a week of rest as well. I think Buffalo is as well, if I'm not mistaken. So both teams fully rested. This one is probably the hardest to pick, I'd say, this week.
I got Buff all the way. I'm Gucci on this. This is going to be a really exciting game to watch. But Buff is at home, and I just got a feeling.
I'm gonna ride the hot Mitch Jones hand. I'm gonna see how they match up here. So I'm gonna go with the Wings, just to see where they are now from where they were a few weeks ago when they played Buffalo, and see if Mitch Jones' magic continues to course through the Philadelphia Wings team veins, as they have a random blip on the radar here with a road game in the middle of the season before they go back home in a couple weeks for an 11 a.m. start time. So that'll be a fun one for me to wake up for. Then we move to 8 o'clock Eastern time, Colorado at Panther City. We just went through a bunch of issues for Colorado. Some key injuries, some just weird ups and downs. I just don't feel confident about the Mammoth where they are right now, sitting at 4-4. It's a massive game in the standings in the West. If Colorado gets a win, they move to 5-4. Panther City drops to 5-5, and then you reverse that. Colorado drops to 4-5, and if Vegas wins this weekend, they're a half game back in the standings behind Colorado. But I'm gonna go Panther City in this one to get a massive massive home win. Panther City is at home, so give me Panther City to get the dub here against a battered and beaten Colorado Mammoth squad.
Yeah, I like Panther City as well. Going back to, I just don't know who the goalie's going to be.
Yeah,
I can't be confident picking without knowing who the goalie is.
And then the final game of Week 12, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, the New York Riptide at the Halifax Thunderbirds. I'm going Halifax. They're at home. They want to rebound against that from that loss against Rochester, so give me the T-Birds to get a big win over the Riptide.
This one's a dilemma for me. I'm going to do it. I'm going to pick the Riptide.
He's back. There it is. So these are our NLL Week 12 picks of the week brought to you by Pickup. We're both going Calgary, San Diego, Toronto, and Vegas. I'm going Philly. You're going Buffalo. We're both going Panther City. I'm going Halifax. You're going New York. There it is. 2 swing games this week for the picks. Follow along with our picks. Let us know your picks in the YouTube comment section. But that is our Week 12 picks of the week brought to you by Pickup. Switching from the box game to the field game, a homie announced his retirement this week. Ryan Brown, after 7 seasons, hanging up the cleats. Brownie has been very, very supportive of this show. I tweeted it because I felt it was okay to tweet now, to kind of toot the horn there. It's like it's a story about a guy who, before his Twitter account got hacked, was following us for quite some time. And Ryan told us, after the Water Dogs won the championship in September, that he and Michael Sowers throw OTB on to watch game film. And that was like, you and I, after that, kind of were like, what the fuck? It's like one of those like out-of-body experiences almost, where like it doesn't seem real that a Team USA superstar, just rock star that Ryan Brown is listening to this show. But he is, and it kind of like makes you just think like, damn, look at what we're doing. Ryan Brown is awesome. Having the privilege of covering him since we started this show back in 2019 with the PLL, and just watching him be one of the best shooters of all time has been nothing short of a privilege and a gift. Happy he gets to go out on top as a champion. Got to play in that game as well. Forever thankful for Brownie just being so good to us and just great with the media, and gonna miss seeing him every weekend, that's for sure. The Water Dogs are definitely gonna miss him, but I think they'll find a way to hopefully replicate his production. But Ryan Brown is a legend. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt about it, and happy to see that he gets to kind of call it a career on his own terms.
Yeah, I remember the first time I watched Ryan Brown play. I was in high school, obviously, when I first started watching. My homie pulled up Hopkins highlights, and I was like, "Dude can rip." And then that's when I got into the whole like he doesn't score one, or he doesn't
Scores
score
one or he
one.
scores five.
Yeah, and if he doesn't score one, he's scoring none. Like that's just who he is. Like he's a scorer, he's a shooter, and he was a guy I would watch to try and figure out how to disrupt shooters. You know what I'm saying? If I could watch a game Ryan Brown is playing and watch a defender defend him and disrupt him, I'm going to try and emulate that. Because if you can disrupt Ryan Brown, you can disrupt any shooter in the world. He's one of the best. Not even one of, he might
arguably the best.
Arguably the best shooter in lacrosse history. Like it's crazy. And to think that he hung it up this year, it was so just like, he had the injury and everything, but it was kind of just like abrupt. And it's like, damn, like I feel like you had at least a year left. Maybe
and it's
two.
crazy that like he only played 7 professional years.
Like I said, his career was so short.
So, and I'm sure, he did have a concussion this year, so I don't know if that played a part in, just the longevity of post-career type of stuff, being like, hey, let me get out in front of this and just, do it on my own and not be forced to retire. But he's a dog, no pun intended. Like, big fan. I've been a big fan of Ryan Brown, since I started watching the sport. And from, him going from that Dream Team Atlas squad to then being like a massive part of the Water Dogs was really cool to see. And I think the outpour on social media for Brownie this week just to show, like, goes to show you what type of dude he is. And I think that goes for every player that's retired so far this offseason, from DiNapoli to Scott Ratliff to now Ryan Brown. It's pretty crazy, We're losing some of the best to ever do it, and that just means we're getting old.
Oh, yes.
To put it in the words of Diggs, we're getting old, man.
Man, we are, in fact, getting old. I ain't even mad at it.
So tip of the cap to Brownie. I did put on Instagram, like, now he's got to come on the show. He's got all the time in the world. So Ryan Brown, open invite to come on the show, obviously. But congratulations on a stellar career, and we're going to miss you seeing you every weekend on the PLL, tour circuit that we go on every single summer. But shout out to Brownie. As we get into our PLL Championship Series preview, ladies and gents, probably going to be the first one on the internet to have one. We're close to it, but Championship Series is next week. Crazy to think about that. We're going to have 7 days of or PLL action, I should say, on ESPN. What we're gonna do here for our preview, so we don't bog you guys down like crazy. Deej and I are gonna give a wider landscape view of how we see the championship series with the 4 teams involved, and then every single day of games, you will get Instagram Reels, videos on Twitter, YouTube Shorts put out with our picks for those games. Just because we don't record this podcast every single day. And unfortunately, the championship series is happening at the same time as the musical that I'm working on. So it's going to be some tough schedule juggling for us. But nonetheless, we're going to put the content out there for you one way or another. So the championship series, it's here. Wednesday it gets started, the 22nd of February, 2 games. It's Atlas and Whipsnakes, Archers and Chrome. Thursday is Whipsnakes and Archers, Atlas, Chrome. Friday is Archers, Atlas, Chrome, Whipsnakes. And then Saturday is the semifinal where the 1 seed plays the 4 seed, the 2 seed plays the 3 seed. And then Sunday morning, 11:30 Eastern Time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPNU as well as ESPN Plus. No free ads, but that is the championship there. With these 4 teams in the fold, and I think when the rosters got announced, a couple months ago now, we were surprised to see how many superstars are truly participating in the championship series. Very excited about that. But in a grand landscape, looking at the teams, and I'm going to pull up their rosters on my end as well, with Archers, Atlas, Chrome, and Whips, what are your expectations for, with this Sixes style, with these rosters, who we know is on each roster, and kind of how you think they'll perform?
I think it's going to be a lot of high-scoring games, and it's going to come down to a couple fourth-quarter saves that are made. That's what's really going to end up winning some of these games. You're going to see a lot of offense, not so much defense, but I am intrigued to see how some of these offensive players end up playing some defense because they're going to have to. It's a little different than playing a ride, and more so you have to play like actual defense. Looking at the 2-point line and how that's going to affect things, I expect the Archers, or not the Archers, the Atlas to explode from behind the 2-point arc. They have like the most by far with the teams that are left with 2-point goals from the 13. So I expect them to kind of take advantage of that. The Whipsnakes, it's going to be fun figuring out how that's going to work. They have a lot of guys that like to get dirty, quote unquote. They play tough, they play hard, they're always in the mix, especially out in front in the crease. So I wonder how the speed of the game and the lack of rebounds per se, how that'll affect their game plan. Archers, no coach, or sorry, their coach.
Atlas have
yeah, that was the other thing.
coach.
That's what it was. Yeah, they had the interim coach. So that's also something to keep an eye on. Is how does that affect the way they come out? If are they looking at any kind of new offense, anything like that? I doubt it. But that's all a factor in this. Archers now have to deal with all of the talk with the bunk bed boys and Marcus's dad becoming a coach and him leaving and all of that. So are they going to be focused?
Right.
And if they are, how many, or how often are you letting them out there to take shots, and how many are they missing? Because let's remember, if you take a shot and it misses everything and goes out, it's a turnover. So you got to value the ball a little bit more. You got to dodge a little bit more and kind of get to a spot. And do you want Will Manny out there at that point? If he needs to dodge and get to a spot, it sounds like he just needs to be out there to man up.
I was looking at the rosters again and just, top to bottom. Call me crazy, but I think the team on your hat right now has the most built-in chemistry across the board from top to bottom for this reason here. That entire Chrome team was together for pretty much the entire year, outside of Alexander Smith being a trade deadline acquisition, but he was on the team, and Harrison Bardwell. Outside of that, this entire unit played together last year, went to the playoffs together, and they have both their goalies. Scanoni and Owen McElroy are on this roster. Every other team outside of, the Whips have Burnlore and everything, but they don't have some of their top offensive guys. Atlas don't have their goalies. They're using two different goals. Well, they have Kincannon, but Drake Porter's there, so Drake hasn't played any PLL outside of some training camp with the Cannons. And then Archers don't have either of their goalies. They have two guys who have little to no reps in the PLL, with Brendan Krebs, who was a rookie last year, was in the draft last year, and then Nick Washuta, who graduated from Vermont in 2020. That, in and of itself, along with what you just mentioned with just the outside noise for the Archers, not that I ever want to discount them, because we fucking love those guys on that team. That just seems like so much to juggle, and to not have a goalie that has experience against these other three teams who have shooters upon shooters. That's a red flag for me.
I agree. It's scary. It's they haven't seen what these guys can do yet. Not that they haven't seen shots and seen a shot from Brian Costabile. They haven't seen a shot from Marcus Holman. They haven't seen a shot from Matt Rambo. These kind of guys give off different shots than what they're ready for, what they're used to. And that may play a huge factor, especially with how fast the game is going. They're taking all of these shots, most likely from 8 yards and in. And that's a lot on a goalie, especially if you aren't necessarily ready for it.
And then I think you look at Atlas, like, yes, they have Jack Kincannon. Yes, they have, Chris Gray. Yes, they have Dox. They have Costabile. But how much do you think Atlas's game over the past couple of years, with this kind of, full-blown roster revamp and the way that they're able to create offense, is initiated at the stripe with Trevor? I think that's a question that has to be asked. Obviously, there's going to be little to no face-offs in the championship series. So it's a reasonable question to ask, because obviously Trevor's the best on the planet. He's the defending MVP in the PLL from this past season. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on, and just like how much of their offense is initiated by Trevor getting that opening possession for every single possession that Atlas has. How much of that is predicated on Trevor's dominance at the stripe? Same thing with the Whips, with no Joe Nardella. And that's going to be a thing that carries into the PLL regular season as well, with Nards being out for the entire year. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on. Chrome, I think, are the one team that just don't have that many questions about them, on the surface and on paper. And I think you and I both agree, top to bottom, their roster is like built for sixes.
Oh, absolutely. It's just that they're young.
Right.
Which,
and I think
in this mode, like, appeals, but it also is kind of scary, because it's like certain times you kind of need that veteranness and guys to kind of that have been there. And I don't know if they necessarily have any guys in the series that have been there.
I think you can say Colin Heacock and Dylan Malloy are going to be those guys. Especially Heacock, with just the Maryland background and everything. I think you can if you're
not
pseudo,
the same as doing it on the pro level, though.
Right. But I think if you're pseudo, you can feel comfortable with him being like a veteran leader on this roster.
Sure.
Because, everybody else outside of... Because Dylan and Heacock both graduated college in 2017. Everyone else on this roster graduated 2019 or later.
Yeah, but can they, create for themselves and make plays down the run? It's going to be that kind of thing. is that veteran-ism that they need. And I don't know if he necessarily has that part of it.
Yeah, we're gonna see. I think that's maybe the one question is the leader, the veteranship on this roster. But I think overall, if you told me to pick a roster, looking at all these with knowledge of these 4 teams from where they're coming from and who's typically on these rosters and how they play, I feel very confident for Chrome's chances as a whole with just the team chemistry, the goalies, and you've got most of your best players. Like the only key player that Chrome is missing offensively is Nick Turn.
Yeah,
And I think
that's true.
you and I can make the argument that they're fine depth wise because they have Jackson Murill who can step right in and fill a role there and do it admirably. And I think you and I talked about this too when the championship series got announced. One player we're super excited to see play sixes is Cole Williams.
Yep.
Like he's a dog. And
This is very fitting for him in his
it's
body
fit for
type,
him
his
and it's
play
fit
game.
for JA.
Yep. Yep.
So like, will they miss Nick Turn? Sure. Are they going to fill the role admirably? Absolutely.
Yep. I think it'll work out just fine for them. I don't think they have too much to stress about in all respects.
Yeah. Roman Puglisi's playing for Whips in this championship series, which is exciting. Was obviously out all of last PLL season due to injury. I mean, the Whips have most of their offensive guys outside of Rambo and Zed, so that's a big benefit for them. I think just the big question is the same thing we said with Atlas is, how much is predicated on Nards getting those possessions and then seeing them perform offensively without Rambo and Zed.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think we haven't seen that in a while. We've
like,
always
correct me if
seen,
I'm
like,
wrong.
one.
Right, like we've only seen one missing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But they're gonna have Juicy J in there. Gutty's gonna get a lot more looks in a sixes format here. And then a bunch of their young guns are gonna get a lot of looks, like Wheaton Jacobois, like we said, Roman Puglisi, Keegan Khan is on the roster. Will Perry is gonna get a lot of looks. From everything I've seen on social media and everything, seems like Stags is very excited about Will Perry.
Will Perry's solid.
Yeah. So he's going to get a lot of looks in this, and I think that's beneficial for the Whips, like moving into the regular season as well, getting a chance to see how he performs and if he can, contribute during the regular season. Brendan Kamish is on this roster as well. I think an X factor in this whole series, though, Tyler Warner. I think just his physicality is going to be something that the other 3 teams don't necessarily have. And I think if
is Danny Logan playing?
No, because he's with San Diego. Yeah, I think the most skeleton crew is Atlas for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
The only other physical type that I could see going toe to toe with Ty is Heacock. He's got the body stature to kind of use his body to his advantage.
Mm-hmm.
But Tyler Warner and the way he plays at that short stick D midi spot, and it's funny seeing him listed as a forward on the Sixers rosters and everything. But everybody else is kind of finesse style almost. That Archers roster. Maybe somebody like a Ryan Oghaven, who's kind of a huskier body type, can take some blows there. John Robbins as well. So we'll see with the Archers boys, but as a whole, if you had to tell me to rank the confidence levels I have in each team, this is where I'm going. I think I start at the top. I'm most confident in Chrome. Then I go Whips. Then I go Archers. Then I go Atlas.
I think I go Archer's Chrome, Whips Atlas. I think Archers also have quite a few guys, and their goalie situation is what it is. I'm not too
That
worried
scares
about
me
it.
a little bit, just based on like who those goalies are going to be facing in terms of shooters from Chrome, Whips, and Atlas.
But if you ask me, and really just like how I look at it, is just more on offense and defense.
Yeah,
How do the guys in front of the goalie play? Are they able to force them into taking twos and keeping them on that outer 10 plus to give their goalie a shot to actually make a save, or are they letting them shoot from 8 and in? And no, most goalies aren't saving 8 and in a lot of the time, So I'm not putting too much on the goalie. It helps a little bit, but everything else the Archers have, it is kind of enticing to think that they have a solid chance.
I think the only other reason I'm putting a little bit more stock in the goalie is the shortened 2-point line too. When you have guys like Costabile who can rip a 2, when you have a bunch of those Chrome guys who can rip 2s, Jake Carraway playing, I wouldn't be shocked if Jake's pulling up from 2 a ton.
Well, at 13, I think anybody really at this point.
So I think that plays a little bit into just my brain of like the goalies kind of being important and like having seen shots against these guys where Kincannon, Scanoni, and Bernlor have. So I think that just plays into those three teams' favor. But I think Atlas, just as a whole, it's going to be interesting just to watch them operate. No Trevor, no Jeff Teat. Let's see how this offense kind of rolls and if it runs truly through what you and I both would assume would be Brian Costabile.
Yeah, I don't know what to even think of Atlas. I'm kind of just going to watch the first game and take notes from there. And they're probably doing the same thing. If you ask me, they're kind
Sneaky player on this Atlas squad. Christian Mazzone is on the Atlas roster.
I knew that.
He's going to end up playing on every team by the end of his career.
That's what it seems like. But I don't know if he's going to fit.
Depends on his tilt.
It's hard not to fit because it's sixes, but like, I don't know if he's.
I think his speed plays.
That's what I mean. Like, it's hard to say he's not going to fit, but like, I feel like he's going to be like one of those guys that they're like going to try and use for quick transition, and if it's not there, they're going to want to pull him off and like bring somebody else on. So maybe.
And Atlas also have Marco Rourke, who went to Bryant, graduated in 2022 on their roster. So we'll see. I mean, sitting here on February 16th, 17th as we record this, Deej, if you had to put a guess on who's going to be hoisting the first Championship Series 6's trophy on Championship Day, which will be February 26th, so next Sunday, who would you say has the most likely shot at being the winner?
Chrome.
I think I'm with you. So there it is. That's the pod pick. Pulling for Chrome. Not pulling, but that's our guess. We just want all four teams to have fun. It is. I'm excited. I remember a little birdie telling us they're planning on having different jerseys for this. I wonder if that's still the case.
I hope so.
That would be absolute flames. I hope that's the case, so we'll see. Like we said, we're going to have picks, videos going out every single day of the championship series. So, and, just fun, quick hitter type stuff. Deej and I do plan to record a quick, 30-minute championship series recap on Sunday night, Monday morning type of thing for you guys as well. So next week, you'll have 3 episodes, really. You'll have typical episode Thursday into Friday. You'll have an episode on Monday following championship series Sunday. And then back to your regularly scheduled program Thursday into Friday. So get hyped for the championship series. Comment on YouTube your thoughts and your predictions for the championship series. We want to hear from you guys as well. And we'll, like I said, we'll have those videos out each and every day with our picks and justifications for everything for our picks for the championship series. But Deej, it's college lacrosse week 2 recap time. Brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer. It's the #1 beer. It's the official beer of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Guys, go to kenwoodbeer.com and use that all new and improved Kenny tracker to see who's got Kenwood beer on tap in the Philadelphia area. And if you are in the Philly area, Home Goods, not a sponsor, but Home Goods now carries Kenwood beer. So go to kenwoodbeer.com, use that Kenny tracker, go to your local Home Goods, go to your local liquor store. You got to be 21 or older to do so. And of course, please drink responsibly. Deej, week 2 of college lacrosse in the books. It was a wild one. Break it down for the people.
Hello, Joey Spolina.
Yeah, how we doing? Hey, what did we say last week, bro? What did we say last week?
To just relax.
Seek help.
Just relax.
Seek help.
And that he was coming. And here he is. He has arrived.
He was like Deion Sanders. Oh, I'm coming.
Like, he's here. And he brought his luggage with him, and there's Louis.
It's Orange Louis.
Him and the Orange definitely took care of business against Albany. Georgetown blowing it against Hopkins. Hopkins looking great, though, against Georgetown. I mean, hey, I like everything that Hopkins has done so far. The helmets look fantastic. Once again, Duke losing in February. Is this normal now? Question mark. And also, I mean, go Fins. Go Fins? I mean, I don't know.
Up?
I don't know. Maybe.
They low key, like, even last year we were talking a little bit about Jacksonville on the pod.
You heard that, right?
I thought somebody was going to fall through your ceiling.
I have no clue what that was. I don't know where that came from. Is that behind me? I'm like scared to look. Oh, it must have been something you did. Yeah, but
like we've been talking about Jacksonville even like last year. They low key feel like a pod team.
Hey, they're getting there. They're getting there. I'm here for it. I love everything that the man John Galloway's down there doing.
We got to get him on the show, man.
We do need to get him on the show. I'm down for it. Moving on, Merrimack is possibly one of the best teams in the country. No, not going to go that far, but they do look good to begin the year, starting off great, getting into D1 play. I'm going to save that game for a second because I really want to talk about that one. Marquette starting 0-2 after losing to Notre Dame last night and Utah over the weekend. The Utah game was very close, though. They lost by 2, so there's some they're 1-2 on the year. Excuse me, they do have a win. So there's some hope for Marquette. Loyola, Maryland. Loyola beating Maryland was weird because Loyola dominated the game. Just flat out dominated the game. From pretty much beginning to end, they owned Maryland. There was nothing Maryland could do, and I don't know. I didn't really like it, but it was fun to watch Twitter kind of react to it, and everybody kind of go, "Whoa, Maryland is beatable." So that was fun. Navy over Hofstra by 1. Navy loves the close games at this point. Arguably, game of the weekend, either Air Force and Denver, which was really close, or Massachusetts and Army West Point. I said that was going to be a game to circle, and they balled out. The game from Saturday that I had time to watch and was most excited to see did not end in the way I wanted it to, but man, was it a game. And Ryan Schreiber, first off, rocking sticks for you. Out there pole goaling it twice in one game against Virginia is crazy. Michigan hanging in the way they did against this Virginia team is crazy. If you think this Michigan team isn't ready to play in the Big Ten this year, you are crazy. Michigan is going to be a team to watch this year. 13-17 against Virginia. Listen, they're coming. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. Be on the lookout for this Michigan team. Don't say I didn't tell you. Syracuse again playing Holy Cross on Sunday. Spallina is just the man. He came through again with, I think, another 5 points. He's really starting to step into the role that everybody thought he was going to. It's pretty criminal that Syracuse is still not ranked. We'll get into that later. I think there's another team that's still not ranked.
Did you see TLN's tier graphic?
Yes.
For people who haven't seen it, go look at it. The took that personal category is hilarious, and the America's team category is fucking hilarious.
Oh my god, so funny. And then the Penn another in-state rivalry here with Villanova Penn State. Villanova has gotten the best of Penn State a few times in that rivalry now recently. Don't really know how I feel about that. Penn State was pretty dominant in that recently.
That's what happens when you lose two of the best players on the planet.
Yeah, you got a point there. You do, in fact, have a point.
You lose there. Mac and Grant the way.
Things change drastically. Yeah. Tuesday. Wow. What a game we got on Tuesday. But someone should check on – I mean, I think he's okay by now. It's Thursday. But Diggs, I hope he's okay still. John Hopkins absolutely was in it, playing a great game, controlling the game in the first half, looked very good against North Carolina, and then just let it fall right through their fingers. Even got a goalie goal in this game and just couldn't muster up enough. 11-7, but John Hopkins still, in fact, should be ranked, so that's pretty criminal that they're not ranked either. That's pretty much it for this week.
Hopkins is ranked in the TLN rankings.
Right. But
which I feel like we should end up doing our own ranking system.
We might have to get to that. Oh, Mass and UMass Lowell are playing next week. That's always one to circle. That's tomorrow, excuse me, at 1:00 in the afternoon. So you might be watching that as you're listening to this. Denver and Duke also play Friday later in the day. That's one to always circle. Rutgers and Army West Point is going to be fun. Obviously, with Loyola winning last weekend, John Hopkins going into town, that's going to be fun. Michigan's hosting Hofstra this weekend. They always have a good battle when they play each other. Cornell and UAlbany, so we know what that means. Seeing Cornell on the schedule, here comes the Ivy League. Ivy League Lax is going to be fun. So let's get off to it. Now we're going to see maybe some of those teams that people feel should be ranked that aren't ranked or should be higher and are sitting under Ivy League teams that haven't played yet. maybe they'll get to see some stuff move up after these teams play. So Brown and Quinnipiac are going to go at it. Penn and Georgetown's going to be fun. Syracuse and Maryland, circle it, of course. Please give it to me. Dartmouth and Merrimack is going to be a fun game as well. Virginia and Harvard will be fun. St. Joe's going to Townsend. Shout out to the Philly boys. That's always a fun game as well.
Go Hawks.
They're good. They look good this year. I'm not opposed to them having a very good year. North Carolina, Ohio State on Sunday. Yale and Villanova on Sunday. Those are probably going to be the two to watch there. Shout out to Hampton, HBCU, going to play Queens. Queens beat VMI last week by 1, so they're going to look to build off that as well. Anything else next week worth looking at? Michigan is hosting Canisius as well. Hampton's going to travel to VMI. That's on Tuesday. Yeah, that's pretty much all to take note of for next week. So next week's going to be fun to talk about too. But like I said, look out for Michigan. There's a lot going on with that ACC and the Ivy League getting into play. And the top of the rankings, the top of the polls, the ranking polls, are really going to be playing some tough games. So there's going to be some movement up there. And we may see some teams that aren't ranked now become ranked, including my Michigan Wolverines.
So there it is. There's DJ's College Lacrosse Week 2 rundown recap. And we wrap up with my recruitment tour. We had 2 teams fan suggested thrown into the ring. Shout out to Brian and shout out to Hoots. Syracuse and Denver are the first 2 teams on the list. This is gonna be a process, everybody. Just like Deej is searching for a favorite NLL team, my recruitment tour. It's gonna be a process, but we want you guys, if you're a fan of a college team, to throw your college into the ring. We want to hear from you because we want to make this into something like huge. Especially like we mentioned last week, like Deej's fandom for Michigan. If we can get the team I eventually, commit to get a game scheduled against Michigan, like imagine us there, dude, and just like full-blown OTB Cup going at it.
It's not like we're going to win.
But like that's the type of shit we want from this. Like we want that like fun aspect. So 2 teams on the list right now that we're gonna put into the old chamber there, and just keep submitting your teams. Put them in the comment section, DM us, tweet at us, all that good stuff. We want as many teams in the mix, so that way when decision day comes and I'm sitting at a table, I got a couple hats laid out. Put the hat on. We get recruited. We're ready to rock and roll. So Denver and Syracuse are on the list.
Should I sign a contract? In a suit? Draft day.
Yes. Hey, son, you want to play for insert team name here? All right, I'm going to hand it over to the school president.
You just got to sign your national letter of intent, son.
You think you have what it takes to be a insert team mascot name here?
Well, we're about to find out.
All right, son, I'll see you first day of classes.
And don't be late.
Get ready.
8
a.m. study hall.
It's going to be tough because I got
study
some
hall
boys
means
with me.
Study hall means you're watching the boys play wall ball.
Don't worry, I got some boys with me.
So yeah, throw your teams into the ring. We want as many teams as possible to pull from. We'll make the list. It's gonna be fun. So excited for that. That's all we got for you guys this week. Let's get ready for a fun championship series. Let's enjoy a fun week 12 of the NLL. Make sure you guys are following us at OTB Laxpod, Twitter, Instagram. Follow Deej on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. Throw your college into the ring on the Apple Podcast reviews. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Comment down below colleges you want in the mix. YouTube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. Get us to 400 subscribers before the end of February. That's what we want. 400 before the end of February. YouTube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. And make sure you get your merch. Go to phiapparel.co. Use code Underground for 10% off any and all orders. Tag us when you get your merch. We want to see you guys rocking OTB merch across the Lacrosse Nation. But this has been episode number 261 of the allegedly award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, and of course viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. For Deej, I'm KB. Enjoy this weekend of lacrosse at all levels, and we will talk to you guys next week with Championship Series in the mix. Stay tuned for our picks videos coming out all week long. But until then, we're getting the heck out of here. Peace.
Peace.